The daily fantasy sports industry found itself embroiled in controversy this week after its two biggest companies, FanDuel and DraftKings, were involved in a scandal that's being compared to insider trading on Wall Street. That has focused new attention on the political prediction website PredictIt. The site lets you wager on all sorts of political and financial events, from who will win the Iowa GOP caucus to will gas taxes rise in 2015? Let's learn more from political reporter Gabrielle De Benedetti of Politico, who is in our Washington bureau. Gabrielle, good morning.
Good morning.
So how does this website actually work?
Well, it's just like any other online gambling site. You basically go in there and you place a bet. We're using real money on any number of political topics, from, who's going to be the next Speaker of the House to when is Donald Trump going to drop out of the, nomination contest. It's online and it takes 10% of the profits. And you just follow the markets.
Gabriel, most online betting and betting on elections, in fact, are illegal in the U.S. How does this website get around that?
Right. Well, this website has a letter from the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, the government agency, that basically says we're not going to do any action because, to make a long story short, it's for educational and research purposes. And there are some restrictions. You can't get on there unless you're 18 years or older. The maximum bet is $850, and it's illegal in 2 states. You can't do it in Washington or Nevada. So they get around it.
Well, so what if you're betting on something that is political, as you mentioned, and you have some knowledge of the series of events? I mean, to me, that sounds like a classic case of insider trading. What happens if you have, say, reporters betting on a website like this?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's not one that there's a good answer to yet. It's a real topic of conversation. If you work on a campaign, or if you're a reporter and you're privy to some inside information, there's nothing they can do to stop you from getting in there and making an early bet and really, making a lot of money. It's a topic of conversation, and it's something that I think people are looking into. But for now, there's nothing they can do.
Right. And I mean, because of course we saw that the daily fantasy sports leagues were rocked by an insider trading scandal this week. I mean, are there similar concerns here?
There are similar concerns, but this is a much smaller market. That's a really enormous one. And this is, just a few dozen thousand people are involved in this. It could get much bigger as things, heat up in the presidential election in particular. But there's not a worry that this is going to have the same scope quite yet as these two daily sports betting markets that we've talked about.
Well, it seems like there's some theories that this could enhance sort of the collective wisdom of the market. And then in some ways, this could really shift things. Is there any truth in that? Could one market affect the others?
Well, it's not clear yet, but it is true that these things have been pretty accurate in the past, and it's pretty useful for research purposes. People pay attention to this stuff, certainly. There were different markets that were in play in the 2012 and 2008 elections, and there was no doubt that political professionals were really looking at it. These things have predicted the elections pretty accurately. It's not 100%, of course, but the people who are involved with these kinds of things, who are paying close attention, for the most part, tend to know what they're talking about.
So you think the campaigns are paying attention to what's going on here?
Well, they certainly aren't paying as close attention as they are to their fundraising numbers or the poll numbers. But, yeah, certainly. We know, for example, that the Bush campaign, Jeb Bush's campaign, has pointed to this stuff when trying to tell donors, calm down, things are going okay. People still think that, Jeb is going to be the nominee or, one of the top contenders. So we know that campaigns are using this as a way to, say either don't worry or maybe we should start to worry a little bit.
Even though they put in some stops to protect how much you can bet, it certainly people are making money. Gabrielle De Benedetti in Washington, thank you so much.